You're listening to the DolphinsTalk.com podcast network.
You're listening to the Dolphins Talk Fan Series, introducing you to some of the Miami Dolphins' biggest fans. If you'd like to nominate a fan to appear on the show, shoot us an email at dolphinstalk1977@gmail.com or send us a message on Twitter @DolphinsTalk. And now, here's today's episode of the Dolphins Talk Fan Series.
Hello, Miami Dolphins fans, and thank you for listening to the DolphinsTalk.com Fan Series. I am your host, Mike, joined as I always am by Ian Berger. Ian, how are you doing today?
Hey, Mike. Good afternoon, good morning, whatever it is. Good evening. Thank you for allowing us to do this, because I love spending time with our fans. It's one of my favorite podcasts, to be honest.
Exactly. The fan series is always so much fun, and we've had a chance to meet so many fans because, Ian, the Miami Dolphins have one of the largest and most diverse fan bases in the NFL, with fans in all 50 states and countries around the world. This podcast series is to help our listeners get to know some of those fans a little bit better. Some of these fans we talk to, you may already know through their social media presence, and others you may be learning about and meeting for the very first time. With that said, give a warm Dolphins Talk welcome to Daniel Rinehart. Daniel, how are you doing today?
What's up, Fin fans? Good to be here. Really grateful to be on the pod with you guys today.
Oh, thank you for joining us, and thank you for reaching out, for wanting to be part of this pod. I'm so happy to have you on. So I guess the first question I'm going to ask is, tell everyone where you're from and how you became a fan of the Miami Dolphins.
I'm from Central Iowa, Des Moines, as a matter of fact. And when I was a kid, my older brother was a Dolphins fan. I had an uncle who was a Bills fan. So watching Dan Marino versus Jim Kelly, up and down the field, there wasn't a lot of good teams from here in the Midwest in the late 80s, early 90s. And I fell in love with the aqua and orange. I fell in love with the Miami Dolphins, fell in love with Dan Marino and the Mark brothers. And I've been a diehard fan ever since. Yeah, and I must ask, is your uncle, who's a fan of the Bills, he's got to be the black sheep of the family, right? He's not liked by anybody. That's for certain. Uncle Kenny is, he didn't like that one.
Uncle Kenny, I love you if you're listening. Right?
Most of the time at the family reunions. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Awesome. So why don't you share with everyone what you do for a living and what type of work you do?
So currently, I'm just a delivery driver. So I have a lot of time with my earbuds in my ears, listening to podcasts. So I'm out in the truck pretty much all day long. I am getting ready to go back to school right now. Never awesome. Stop learning is never. One of the things that I push in my personal life. So I'm always interested and always listening to not only, the DolphinsTalk.com podcast network, but I listen to weekly, by a couple of times a week, a podcast that I actually was one of the original founding members of. It's a member of the DolphinsTalk.com podcast network as well. That's called the Fin Fans Podcast.
Yes, the Fin Fans Podcast. Great guys over there.
Nice. So Daniel, my question to you is, and you mentioned that you started watching when it was Marino versus Jim Kelly, but who is your absolute favorite Miami Dolphins player, either past or current, for the team? Who would you say is your favorite?
So my past all-time favorite player is Jason Taylor. I actually have him right here on my
look
arm.
at that.
Oh, that's a sweet tat right there.
And currently, there's a lot of really good Miami Dolphins, but I'm an Iowa boy, so I love me some AVG, Andrew Van Ginkel.
Yes.
Love watching those defenders fly around the field. My very first live in-person Miami Dolphins game ever, I watched Jason Taylor take an interception to the house off of Rex Grossman and do his famous over the end zone, the goal line jump. Taylor was always one of my favorite players and still is to this day. As a matter of fact, and I'll throw this in real fast. So I have 3 sons currently. My oldest son's name is Ethan Marino Rinehart. Nice. And my youngest son's name is Kason Taylor Rinehart. So if that tells you anything, Dan Marino and Jason Taylor, both of which are on my arm.
Oh,
look at that.
Are nice, very close to me personally. And like I said, I'm a diehard Dolphins fan and have been since the Marino days.
I love, Daniel, the fact that you are in Iowa, and we do not hear too many Miami Dolphins fans in Iowa, even though I know there are plenty there. But it's just amazing that it's so far away from South Florida, but you have such a passion and a love for this team. And, that's kind of exactly why we put these shows together, because I think people don't realize the level of fandom that's outside of South Florida. And even Mike, Mike's in New York, and there's a lot of fans in New York that love the Dolphins, but to hear your story in Iowa and to see the tats, the ink that you have, which is just amazing artwork too, by the way.
Thank you.
So my next question for you is, what's your favorite Miami Dolphins moment or game of all time? There's been so many over the last 20, 30 years, but what's your favorite?
Oh man, it's such a tough moment. On a feelings level, it probably is that Dolphins game at Soldier Field in 2006. That's the year Jason Taylor won Defensive Player of the Year.
That's right, sure.
We went into Chicago. They were undefeated, similar to when they was in 85. And everybody's like, oh my goodness, this Grossman-led Chicago Bears team may go undefeated. And we went in and smoked them. But I'll tell you what, in 2008, when we went up to Foxborough, and Ronnie Brown and Ricky Williams just destroyed that team.
Welcome to the Wildcat, right?
Yep. That's got to be one of the best moments ever.
I remember that. I remember exactly where it was. Actually, the bedroom, which is right next door, I was watching by myself because I remember that season up to that point, it was a horrible season. So I expected the Patriots to pulverize the Dolphins for that game, to be honest with you. And then watching that, my wife and kids downstairs were like, what's going on up there? And I was like, you've got to come see this.
Yeah. And then I got to say, one of those moments where you always remember where you're at is the Miami Miracle, obviously. Yeah. I was holding Cason Taylor. He was sleeping in my arms. He was only about a month old when that play happened. And I don't know if you've ever done the silent scream where you're like, I jumped out of my chair and I was holding my son, and my lady was like, you need to stop. And I said, never going to forget that moment too. Yeah, that was a great one.
Baby, Daniel.
Yeah. Don't drop case and we won. Yeah, it was very special.
Awesome. So when you're watching the game there, Daniel, in Iowa, what's some of the food you like to eat? What's some of your snacks? What do you like to sort of munch on when you're watching the Miami Dolphins play?
Well, I've got a crock pot that I put together quite often. I got a buffalo chicken pasta that I like to put together. And my oldest boy, Ethan Marino, he can't go without my cheese dip. So, we do the Rotel cheese dip a lot. Literally just moved into a new home last week. So my walls are still yellow, you can see, but soon enough, we're going to have 2 TVs posted on the same wall, one for the Dolphins game, one for Red Zone. This man cave is going to be lit, and I cannot wait for football season this year.
I know. It's going to be so much fun. So when you're not watching the Miami Dolphins play or listening to podcasts about the Dolphins, what do you like to do for fun out there in Iowa? What's the hip-happening thing to do in Iowa?
There's not a lot. There's not a lot to do in Central Iowa.
Is it cow
tipping? Tommy Boy tells us that cow tipping is a lot of fun. But no, I mean, I've got a really good, solid group of guys. One of the things that I'm passionate about just in general is the NFL. So we're really into dynasty fantasy football.
Fantasy, yes, of course. That's why you have a TV for the Red Zone. I figured that
exactly.
When you said that.
Yeah, I'm the commissioner of about 10 leagues. I draw up a bunch of bylaws and stuff. So we're always talking football all season long. And other than that, the group of guys that I'm with, we like to do nice things for other people. So a lot of the time we're not just thinking about ourselves, but we're thinking about other men and women in the community that we can help.
Very nice. Very nice. So this is a question we ask all the fans, and I really, in my opinion, I think there's probably only 1 or 3 teams that kind of fall in this, but I'm always interested to ask, which Miami Dolphins opponent do you dislike the most?
Tom Brady.
Yeah.
Yeah. When I was younger, it had to have been the Jets. My uncle Kenny was always in the corner of the Buffalo fan, and Jim Kelly, especially since his retirement with the cancer and all that, there's just a mutual respect that I have for that team more than the Jets from those years. But after the 2000s, I mean, there's no other team than the evil empire up north in New England that, I mean, I can't stand to see them win against other teams. I can't stand to see him put up points against us. I'm glad Tom Brady's gone, and I can't wait till Belichick does not beat Shula's record. That's fingers crossed that he doesn't coach long enough to have that record.
Even if he does, he doesn't have a quarterback right now to make that happen. And I don't think Mac Jones will be a guy in the next few years who is at that level to have them winning 10, 11, 12 games consistently. That's why I don't think he'll get the record. You might come close. That's why, I mean, and if it is Mac Jones, then at certain points you just got to say, God love him, he did it. I mean, what are you going to
do? Even if he does, he's not going to have the shining reputation that our man Shula has.
True.
Exactly. So my next question for you is, I see over your right shoulder a Miami Dolphins helmet, very different colors than the traditional. So do you have a story behind that? Where'd you get that thing from?
Yeah, as a matter of fact, so getting ready to move into this place, we closed on this, our first home, on June 18th. June 20th, that Sunday, was Father's Day. And so I actually received that helmet from my fiance for Father's Day this year. When I told her that I was going to be on the fan series, she said, that better be the centerpiece. You better make sure that that's in the picture. So not only do I have that, but I tried to get the Warfield in here a little bit.
Beautiful.
I've got the
Paul
other.
Warfield signs a nice autograph too. Some of these guys, it's just a scribble. I've got a few behind me from Paul Warfield. It is a beautiful signature penmanship that it looks like a nice autograph.
So obviously I don't have the shadow box on the wall in here yet, but I'm working on getting all the autographed Hall of Famers. I've got Warfield, Little, and Stevenson. I used to have a Jason Taylor and a Marino because I met them personally and had them autograph my jerseys. I met them in Des Moines, Iowa, as a matter of fact. Stories for another day, but we were robbed one year. And I had all my memorabilia stolen. So trying to level back up and get those jerseys back up is something that's really dear to me.
That's very unfortunate. And I wish this next thing was a live read for ADT, but it's not. It is for our friends at Manscaped. So summer is coming. Are you ready to unveil your beach bod? You're in luck. Our friends at Manscaped just launched their 4th generation performance package, which includes the Lawnmower 4.0. You heard that right. The 4.0. Complement your summer bod with a trim from the leaders in male grooming. The sun is shining and calling your name, fellas. Join the 2 million men worldwide who trust Manscaped to get ready for hot guy summer. So everyone go to manscaped.com, use the promo code DolphinsTalk, save 20% and get free shipping. Did I mention this trimmer is waterproof as well? In the shower or in the wild. You can shave from we're in the wild, and from your chest pubes all the way down to your ball fro. The Lawnmower 4.0 is the best trimmer for you. Want to take your grooming game even further to the next level? The Performance Package 4.0 also includes the Weed Whacker to chop your worst weeds up top of your nose and ears. So everyone, go to manscaped.com, use the promo code DolphinsTalk, save 20%, and get free shipping. Now that that's out of the way, Daniel, what's one current movie, TV show, maybe a podcast not related to the Dolphins that you're currently watching that you want to recommend to all the Miami Dolphins fans out there that they have to watch, they have to sort of be in on?
My lady and I are both true crime junkies.
Oh, nice.
I guess there's a podcast that I never miss an episode of, and I listen to the Colonel and the Captain over at True Crime Garage. So if you're a podcast junkie and you're a true crime junkie, I would definitely recommend listening to the guys over at True Crime Garage.
Awesome. We'll have to check that out. And what's your favorite type of music? What type of music are you into?
Being in Central Iowa, am I supposed to say country?
No, you can say whatever you want.
I listen to a lot of spiritual music. So really I try to live the principles in my life that I have learned over the last several years of my life. And one of the things that gets me into the type of mood to be creative, helpful, loving, compassionate is spiritual music. So I listen to a lot of that.
Awesome. And one other fun question we ask is, are you like a fast food guy? If so, what's your, everyone's, they fight over the chicken sandwiches, Popeyes, Chick-fil-A, and then you got your Wendy's is now in the mix, your Burger King. Is there a fast food chain that, even though we all know it's bad for you and you try to avoid it, when you drive by it, you go, I got to swing through there?
I'd love to say that there was one more than the other, but there's really not. There's a gas station here, and I don't know how many other places it is, but it's called Quick Trip. Other places in Quick Star here, they have fried chicken they have no business in having. So when I'm out in the truck and or if it's a weekday night and I need to grab something quick for dinner, I stop off at Quick Star and I pick up some of their fried chicken because it's unrivaled in a quick market around here. I like it better than Popeyes. I like it better than KFC. I don't really do Chick-fil-A much, but I love Quick Star chicken. So that would probably be my answer.
Ian Berger's back, I think, who knocked himself out there or something with his feet.
My Wi-Fi and my cable at home just completely went out. So I don't know who to talk to about that, Mike.
Well, not me, but I think Tom Ernest, he sent you his bad luck. So we're going to blame Tom on this one.
I thought maybe he was stopping to get a chicken sandwich from Popeyes.
Yeah, we just asked what his favorite fast food chain was here. So Ian here, last couple questions if you want to sort of close this out.
Yeah, so Daniel, if you follow our podcast, and I'm kind of a really positive guy, so would you consider a glass half full or glass half empty guy?
Myself, I'm definitely a glass 3/4 of the way full guy, but that doesn't mean that I can't be a realist. There are definitely reasons and things to see in every, not only Dolphins game, Dolphins season, but walk of life where you have to be real. But I'm definitely a glass half full guy.
Nice. And with that being said, 2021 is just a couple of weeks away. I think I said it's 11 Sundays from today we'll actually be watching Miami Dolphins football. Man. So what do you expect with the team in 2021? Where do you see us going?
I think a lot of other fans, we expect the playoffs. Right. I mean, without that disaster up in Buffalo, week 17 of last season, we would have been a playoff team. I think that the expectation this year has to be playoffs. I don't think that Flores is on a hot seat of any kind, but I think the playoffs are definitely something that we should expect. I think that we have the capabilities of winning a game or two in the playoffs. I really do. I don't know that I should say that that's an expectation, but I think that we are capable of that. And if our coaching staff continues to elevate the play of not only our defense, but those rookies that we got last year on that offensive line, guys like Waddle, I think that the sky's the limit, and I see a playoff win in our future.
I hope you're right. I do think this season, the shift, I think, amongst fans, and I'm not sure if all the fan base is there yet, really does have to shift from we're this rebuilding team trying to get back to where we want to be to there's real expectations this year.
Yes.
Now our head coach is not on the hot seat. I know that was a big thing of recent weeks and days, whatever. He's not on the hot seat, but if he has a bad year this year, he will be next year. 2022 will be a make or break. It's a results-oriented league. So this year, the expectations are there. They can't have a year where they only win 6 or 7 games. There'll be a mutiny in Miami, and people will lose jobs. Not our head coach per se, but other people. So it's going to be interesting because I do think they have the capability to win, and the money they've spent the past 2 off seasons and all the draft picks. At some point, you got to cash in these chips here and get some results. So I think it's a year with a ton of optimism. I think the sky's the limit. Making the playoffs not unreasonable. It's a reasonable expectation. Yeah. Nobody's even saying win the AFC. Just make the playoffs. So I do think this year has the potential to be a lot of fun. And I know fans of this team are going to be so excited going into September. But, yeah, the expectations are real this year, Ian.
I agree. And I'm like you, Daniel. I think playoffs are an expectation for us at this point, going 5-11, and then now, last season going 10-6. And this season with the team, really, I mean, we have built our team with such great talent, not just at the starter position, but also at backup positions.
Yeah.
So
we're
deep. I think a lot of people will agree that this team will go as far as Tua can take us.
Yep.
I think Tua's got to take that leap, which I think he will. And even if he just plays 25 or 30% better than he did last year, I think you'll see the team being able to go in some great direction. So I see us hitting the playoffs as well. So I'm excited. We are 11 Sundays away from the Dolphins football game, and I can't wait. I really can't wait for the season to get here.
Yeah, the way Tua plays, it's going to hinge not only our season, but what people say about Flores and how he handled the situation last year going into this year and all of that. He's going to be the glue that either holds us together or lets us slide apart.
What I want to see from him this year, and we saw it once last year against Arizona, over the course of now a 17-week season, there's going to be at least 3 games Tua has to win, not on his own. That's too much of a cliche, where he drags the team to a victory. We saw it once last year. Now, with him being the guy for an entire season, there's going to be weeks where, the team's having an off day, but you need your quarterback to come in and save the day. If he can do that at least 3 times and play, like a second-year quarterback is expected, not to be all pro, not to be Superman. He's going to make some mistakes. I understand that. We all sort of understand that. Just play at a consistent level, but at least 3 times drags his team to a win, we're going to be just fine. If he can't, though, that's going to be – I don't want to be here next offseason. It's going to be a disaster.
I believe in him.
We'll be back.
Yes. I believe in him. I believe that he can do it.
Yeah, absolutely. Daniel, thank you so much for a few moments of your time today. Is there anything you want to plug? Any of your social media outlets, Twitter, anything like that?
You can follow me at DanimalAF on Twitter. That's all football, DanimalAF. Definitely check out the Fin Fans podcast as a part of the DolphinsTalk.com podcast network. Come follow me on Twitter. There's going to be some exciting stuff coming around the corner as far as Dynasty Fantasy Football is concerned. So really, really grateful to be here today. Thank you, fellas, for having me. I'm going to continue to watch. I'm going to continue to check out DolphinsTalk.com, and really, really grateful. Just thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
We appreciate you, Daniel. Thank you. Thank you, buddy.
We do appreciate it. So, Ian, we will have another show like this out here pretty much most of the summer, as this is sort of our summer programming. So just want to wish everyone have a good rest of your day, and we'll talk to you again after a while.
Fins up, everybody.